Mustardgang podcast.
Oh my god.
Okay, welcome to welcome back to episode 5 of the Mustardgang podcast. I'm joined here once again with Mr. Luke and John. And today's topic is a very interesting one. I think a lot of us, all three of us, have a lot to say about this one. So, with the emerging popularity of esports and video games throughout the world in general, for all sorts of games from like Tekken, Fortnite, Apex, Dota, League, even the smallest games you can think about, their esports is a lot bigger than what it used to be. With that, for today's topic, I wanted to discuss the sustainability of the esports industry in the long term, and sustainability as in not really environmental sustainability, more so the economic sustainability, the how viable is the industry long term when it comes to like business growth or economy wise.
Okay, sorry.
Is he writing on the whiteboard?
It's like a teacher, bro.
Sustainability. You think you're funny, bro?
That's pretty clever. That's pretty clever, G.
That's that illegal Riz, bro.
Illegal Riz.
He's got that Riz face. John's definitely got that Riz face, dude, with that fucking chin line. Anyways.
All right, so sustainability of esports.
Bro. Like, is there a future for it long term?
I'm gonna start and say yes.
Yes.
But not with its current setup.
Okay.
Some stuff have to change.
Alright.
Industry-wise, I feel like it's good. It's promising, right? It brings a lot of viewers. Didn't it like outshine the Super Bowl or something? Like the league finals.
Did it?
Didn't
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But
like
I know
live
that,
concurrent viewers, it was insane. Money-wise too. Money-wise, right? I'm looking at a graph right now of the esports industry, and it has been growing every year. Mm-hmm. Right now, it's worth about $1.4 billion, and by 2032, they're expecting it to go up to $5 billion, right? So that's pretty big.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, clearly, there's like a market for it.
Mm-hmm.
But the market it's too dependent on the game developers to show love to their game, and sadly some game developers don't. So like Dota, right? Like Dota's good,
yeah.
but I don't know, it just feels like it's falling off, especially since their last TI, where the prize pool, it was already at like 30 million last year or 25, and then now it's like what, 2 3, like what's
2 or
up with
3
that,
mil.
dude? It's weird, man. It's like they're not showing enough consistency within the industry to make it sustainable.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
All right. What about you, John?
For me, is the esport scene sustainable with its competitive side? I believe there will always be like a competitive scene with esports, but on the same level as it was 2 years ago, it's looking very iffy. A lot of games have already died. Like the first Overwatch is gone. What else has died? Blizzard's HOTS, non-existent.
Yeah, HOTS is dead.
What was before?
Han
what was
is
before
also
League?
essentially
Han is gone.
non-existent, basically.
Han is dead as well. A lot of things have died because their developers, as you said, just don't care for them as much.
Yeah.
And they just don't receive. I guess they don't receive enough funding, or I don't know about those ones. But Blizzard has what? How affluent is Blizzard, and they can't like focus on their just freaking games. Everyone. I mean, this isn't a dig at the competitive scene per se regarding Blizzard, but they even screwed up Diablo 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the first playthrough is awesome.
Diablo 4 got fucked in the ass.
And personally, dude, Blizzard, they robbed me, bro.
They did.
$40 for Overwatch 2 PvE, bro. I pre-ordered it, man. I was so hyped. It's like skill trees in Overwatch 2 and then customizable hero progression.
What happened?
They never released it. They were just like, oh, by the way, we're giving up on the PvE. It's like, what?
Jeez, dude.
Wait,
what happened
Overwatch
to your
2?
money?
Yeah, there's no more PvE. And then the PvE content that they released, guess what? They hid it behind a paywall, bro. So you have to pay an additional $15, like $10 to do the 2 to 3 PVE missions, bro.
Wait, dude,
That's
was
how
it?
they marketed the
Dude,
game.
PvE was like their
That's what I'm
main
saying.
shit when they're developing the thing. What the
Exactly.
fuck? I did
That
not
was-
know.
That was their,
Oh
that
my
was their whole
god.
thing. Their whole thing was like, oh, we're gonna do PVE. It's PVE content. And they're like, actually, never mind. I can't do that anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
Man.
That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of it, a lot of the players, a lot of the like the consumers of the game feel slighted a lot, especially like by
Yeah.
like these competitive games like Overwatch and League of. I don't know. League of Legends is doing pretty well, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's always done
yeah,
okay.
League has always
Just 'cause
done
League
well.
has, like, a ginormous
Biggest, the
player base.
biggest like base of audience. So in general, Luke, yes, but at the same time, there's definitely doubts. And John,
Mine's no,
you're like very
unless
you're like a
I guess we're about
stronger
the same
no,
thing.
but both of you basically share like the very similar doubts about the industry.
There
That's
needs to
what
be a
it's sounding
change
like.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, mainly I guess like the common ground that I'm hearing is a bit more. There's no like a central organization per se. There's no like a very central structure on like who operates it, who organizes it. I guess from the consumer's point of view, you would expect that to come from the developers, right? I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
But there just isn't enough effort from the developers regarding that side when they make these games, I'm guessing. That's kind of like what I'm hearing from you guys. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bit
It's
more
tricky, man.
It's a bit more complicated too because you need for there to be a competitive side, you need viewers, you need people to watch you, and to have that, you need to have like committed fans of teams
Yeah.
or players, and it seems a bit more difficult to get a like a consistent fan base for esport orgs, instead of like. It's like just for like basketball as an example. Like there will always be Chicago Bulls fans. People from Chicago. They're always gonna root for Chicago Bulls. Or the what are they? The Lakers. Always Los Angeles. Meanwhile, in like the esports side, people are taking from any part of the globe. There's the best players and putting them together, and so the fans chase the players instead of the orgs now. And with a lot of the main players, at least for Dota, either retiring or always shifting around or moving to streaming.
I think that's not. I
What
think
is the
that's
level of
every
interest
game.
that fans
Yeah.
or like viewers have? I guess
I think
so.
every game does that. Like basically.
I guess like LeBron fans always chase LeBron, but still, Lakers fans will always show up in the stadium paying dollars to watch whoever's playing for
Yeah.
the Lakers. Whereas
That's true.
people who root for Fnatic like yesterday might not show up to watch a game 2 weeks from now if their favorite players aren't there.
True.
So
And I think honestly, this is where Overwatch 1, the Overwatch League for Overwatch 1, they had the right idea with how they structured their pro scene, because they did it by city.
ah,
You know that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So it
yeah,
was
I
like the
remember
San
that.
Francisco, blah blah blah, the blah blah blah. They wanted to make it more traditional sport, and it showed off because like each team would have their own mini stadium, or like there would be a few stadiums, and they make the fan base off of the franchise, not off of the player, which would have been really good had they not screwed Overwatch up, man. With a GOATS meta, did you play Overwatch during that time?
I played
You know
that.
the GOATS meta thing?
Yeah, I remember.
It's one where you don't run DPS, you run 3 tanks and 3 supports, and it's the same 3 tanks and it's the same 3 supports. It's like Orisa, Diva, Zarya, and then Lucio, Moira, Ana. That's it. Every game it's a mirror, so they just completely unbalanced it, and it became so freaking boring to watch because every game it's the same. lineup,
what
man.
the hype?
Yeah,
What was the
yeah.
hype there?
Yeah.
Like the crowd would start booing. They pick Pharah, like, oh my god, they picked a Pharah, and then like right before the round starts, they switch back to Lucio or
Yeah.
Moira. It's like boo. It's like it's so
Yeah,
boring,
yeah.
man.
I guess that's also one of the main arguments for why it's not viable, because it's video games are more vulnerable to metas.
Yeah.
A lot more vulnerable to like when small changes happen in video games, you feel that a lot more than compared to like your traditional sports, right? Like traditional, like traditional sports, even if like NBA game or FIFA or like fucking Bundesliga or whatever, even if they have like small rule changes, even if they have blah blah blah, they can't like change the game entirely. You know what I mean? Like basketball will still be basketball, 5v5. It'll still be that, and then it's still fun to watch, even if players don't pull up like some crazy like formation or something that's like off the norm. Like you don't like Steph Curry and LeBron, they don't have to go out of their way to like drive in more and doing dunks a lot more for it to be like significantly a lot more fun to watch. Like Steph, he's shooting threes all the time, right? Because shooting three, I guess in NBA, it is a bit more exciting to see like players drive in to the paint, but just shooting threes, like it's still overall fun to watch basketball. You know what I mean? Wow.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. While in video games, like you said, if they pull off like a winning formation meta like the GOATs, it's boring to watch. So viewership-wise, it decreases, but for the player's perspective, that's what they have to do to win.
Yeah.
So you guys
Depends.
see what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Depends if the meta is boring or if it's incredibly like high skill play
Yeah.
type
I guess
games,
yeah,
or if
it's just
one strategy
a lot
winner.
more volatile.
Mhm.
A lot more volatile.
Volatile, unpredictable. Multiple things have to be
Yeah, a lot more things you
possible.
can't expect. Less consistency.
The thing is, the meta makes the game boring, but it could also make it super interesting because then you're always forced to play a different way, right? That's exciting for, at least for Dota, right? It's fun that every TI, generally speaking, Dota's played a different way. I would say.
That was the case 2 years ago, but it's gotten a little bit more. Like ever since they introduced the what are they called, the wells. For people who don't watch Dota, there are these wells that spawn healing orbs every other minute and a half. Everyone's gonna have to run for those. The wisdom runes that spawn every 7 minutes, people have to rush for those. So they're being forced across the map, instead of like having their other alternative strats that they used to, which is either like a death ball lineup, a very pick off lineup, a heavy farm lineup, just last to 50 minutes and you win. It used to be like that, right? 4 years ago, people would plan around strategies that would last till 50 minutes and then they win, or win the game in 20 minutes versus a team that would win the game in 20 minutes.
Right.
And they would like go at odds with each other. And then sometimes the crazy thing happens where it goes over 50 minutes and still the early game strats would still win. And that's what people got hyped up about. But now it's a bit more, everyone's playing the same game. At least in this meta now, which is why people are getting a little bit worried about the state of at least this particular game. But
This is Dota, right? Dota 2?
yeah, Dota 2.
Yeah,
But, yeah,
that's
it has to
that's
be
exactly
interesting.
what it is. Like that's exactly like for whatever game. Like I feel like this is not just Dota. This is any game. Any game. They need to keep changing the game in order for their esports to prosper, because that's the only way to keep the viewers interested and invested. That means more effort from the developers, more money going in at the end of the day, right? To keep the game more interesting. While as in like traditional sports, you don't really have to do that, right?
Yeah, you just work on your individual skill and team chemistry.
Yeah. And you can't blame the players for like, going with whatever meta at the time, not like going off the norm to make things more interesting. Because at the end of the day, players' goals is to win the game, right?
Yeah.
There's also this thing where there's a lot less incentive for some games to work hard on their product, whatever game that might be, because if they still rake in like millions of money a year by releasing cosmetics or and all these like hats, what they call hats, then why would they need to work that much harder on their the game itself? If they can make money by releasing skins or releasing, then that's all they need to like focus on.
That's also true. Like even like from the developers' perspectives, like from like a very company perspective, like I guess they lose more, I guess, working on like the developing the esports side of it, gearing the games towards that versus while they can just do the whole like cosmetics thing and work on other things. I guess it's just less cost effective. I can definitely see that.
That's why. What was that?
And if they focus on the cosmetics, then what about the actual professional players, right? Because then they have to, the competitive players don't get affected by the cosmetics. They're still gonna play the same game they were playing before the cosmetics came out. And then if the meta at that time isn't interesting for viewers, they won't watch. And if they don't watch, there aren't any viewers. And if there are no viewers, there will be no tournaments. Because tournaments don't run on the cosmetics. The cosmetic money goes straight to the developers, at least here. None of it goes to the tournament organizers. They just get a lump sum money. And they get their commission. But if no one watches them, what are the contracts?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, and even from the a potential like player's perspective, where like aspiring talents, what reason do they have? Because they can just be streamers if they're that good at the game. They don't need to go pro, right? And it seems to me a lot of times they make money a lot easier and more money that way rather than going pro and limiting themselves to an organization. They just become a streamer themselves, put up videos themselves. It seems like, at least from what I can see, it seems like for them that's better than going pro.
Yeah. That's why I said, man, the devs really have to show love, dude.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to create like a thriving esports scene where it's just ruled by greed.
Like an ecosystem built on greed instead of on entertaining.
Like the passion for the game. Dude. Like, it sounds cringe, right? But you have to cultivate this audience where they just genuinely love the game, and the players need to feel like the devs love the game too, right? By create with like unique metas that really force players to change how they play, right? Like, but it's not there. It's not happening.
Yeah.
That's the sad part.
And also some games it's just not designed for esports also. So that one's
sure,
like you know, that's just like we can't really say much about that. And like Tekken though, so fighting games surprisingly over the past few years.
I love watching fighting games.
They've been
like I could always
prospering,
watch
dude. Like they're doing something right, especially Tekken. Tekken's been just prospering, dude.
It's so easy to
Their
watch,
esports
man.
scene.
Plus the gameplay is amazing in Tekken.
Fighting games definitely just designed for esports, right? Just designed for like audience viewership, because you don't really need to know the game to enjoy watching these games, right?
Yeah.
It's just like
That's true.
There's two guys beating the shit out of each other, like looking cool.
That's true.
It's easy to understand.
Yeah.
That and FPS games like CS:GO and Valorant, very entertaining to watch, even if you don't understand.
Yeah, you see somebody
a lot of parts.
shoot someone with a sniper, bro.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
actually, that
And
was
the way
cool.
they
That was
flick,
cool.
the way they flick their camera, you get to see their POV.
Mm-hmm.
Way more like easy to understand than
Yeah.
a lot of other competitive games.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, for me, I never understood StarCraft, dude. I get that it's hard as hell, dude. Like, genuinely, like, probably one of the highest skill cap games. I can't watch it.
It's not entertaining to watch, man.
I don't
You
know
have
what
to
I'm-
actually
Yeah,
know
StarCraft-
how it works.
Yeah, it's definitely one of
I don't
those
know what
like,
I'm looking
niche
at, dude.
games. Yeah, one of those.
I don't
niche
know what I'm
games.
looking at, dude. It's like, what's he doing, dude? He's just, like, playing piano on his keyboard. He's pressing so many keys. Like, tick, 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 tick.
It was interesting to like study though, but man, StarCraft is.
You feel cool when you're good at it, I guess, but like,
Yeah.
you know, it's you really need to know that game to appreciate like what the players are doing. And from like a very esports perspective, that's probably not as great. I mean, unless like the entire fucking country plays StarCraft like Korea did back in the day. But you know, that's not how it's always gonna be, right? You're not always gonna have like more than half the population playing like one game religiously.
It's because we're not all Korean. Only Koreans play StarCraft, dude. I've never seen a white guy play StarCraft and like excel.
Funnily enough, one of the best players was a Canadian woman, I believe.
What was it? Actually,
Yeah. I think
Because
she
whenever
was
I-
like rank 18.
I know there's a Canadian dude that came over to Korea and he did pretty well against the Koreans.
There
like, back
was
in
a
the day.
woman, I'm pretty sure.
Because every
Like
time I look at
rank 18 or
the
something.
every time I look at the like when I stumble upon like StarCraft tournament, let's watch a few minutes of it.
They're all
So
Korean.
they just look the same, dude. Is it mirrored?
Jeez.
Why is he playing against himself? Dude?
that. Because to a certain degree, I
They look the
definitely
same.
agree with that.
It's like watching the Overwatch League, dude. And then like the San Francisco Bombers entering the arena, and it's 6 of the same guy, dude. All the same, dude. All Koreans. I don't know. What is it with Koreans, man? You guys just have like ultra instinct when it comes to video games. Like mechanically speaking, I feel like Koreans are very gifted at video games. Mechanically speaking.
I think so too, and I'm not saying that from like a biased standpoint, even just as like as objectively as I can think of. Just good at games, bro. In general, I don't know why. I really don't know what it is. It's just
it's
there's
weird,
people
man.
here just good at games. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. they're just so good. Like it's so scary when you load into an Overwatch game and then the username's in Korean, and then he locks Genji. I'm like, oh no, dude. This is not gonna be fun. Or like a Tracer. Oh my god, dude. You just know it's like I'm done. We lost. GG guys. GG. Let's go next. Let's go next.
How are Filipino players, man? When they lock in, like Valorant or something.
Filipino
it
players
like?
are just.
You guys
they're
get too
just
emotional,
passionate,
bro. It's
We're
just
very passionate.
That's it.
Filipino players are fun to watch because you can see how intense they are when they play like super. It's like heart, bro. They play with heart, man. Like the whole TI, was it TI6 when
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 TNC, TNC,
yeah, when TNC
overthrew
Oh my
OG,
God, I remember
OG,
that.
dude.
most dominant team that year.
Like that's objectively speaking, they weren't as good as OG, right? But
No,
they
they
just play
weren't.
with heart,
Nowhere
man.
near,
They just
bro.
They played better
just
than
play
OG.
with-
Those the only 2 games they needed to play better than OG. They played better.
they
than
just
OG.
play with so much heart, man. And I think that's also one side of the industry that you can like, that gives me hope, is that moments like that do happen.
Yeah.
Right? And those are like,
And they need to keep happening. There needs to be
Yeah,
like
they
a
need.
meta where they're allowed to happen. Because right now it feels like everyone's locked into this
Yeah.
yeah.
set. Build this by this time. Move here by this time. Fight by this time. Get this item and fight. And it's all too one-dimensional in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other games are doing well. I think it's sustainable if you have a good dev team behind it. You have a good formula, good strategy to keep players interested, keep gamers interested.
Like they
Well,
they
will
need
keep watching.
like some sort of centralized structure for like the leagues and the systems
True.
and everything, how teams are developed, how everything happens, because and like the even of maybe a more like, how do I say,
There needs to be stakes too.
Yeah.
There has to be stakes, man.
because let's think about this, like what like how does people form a team to compete in
How do people
esports?
form a team?
You know what I mean? Like how does that start? Like to conceive from that to like, you know, training camps or whatever. I feel like all this process, there needs to be some sort of central structure for each game. And I don't know if it's up to the devs or if it's up to some other organization, but each game I feel like they need that central group that gets to dictate that. And also some sort of way to make sure there is like a consistent flow of investors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because
But the
That's one of
investors
the bigger
part, the
parts.
money part, I feel like the money part is good because generally speaking, I feel like esports is bringing a lot of money. It has
It
been
does bring
bringing
in.
a lot of money because it just
Especially-
generates so much
yeah.
viewership, dude.
But I feel like the legitimacy, it's still not there, though, for like
Yeah.
to,
Like,
to rake in
legitimacy as in,
real
like, accept-
long-term investors. I feel like a lot of these times, a lot of these investors or orgs that just pop up out of nowhere to make a team, I think they're just there to look for like a quick buck, bro. You know what I mean?
Like to pass time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
See if it works.
because I found a whole study like done, let's see, it was published in March 10th 2022. It's by some students in the university in Finland. They did a study on basically this like sustainability of esports, and yeah, I skimmed through it, and a very recurring theme was that like a lack of legitimate, like consistent investors into the game. And because let's say an investor puts in money to start a team, and we've had all sorts of people do this, like from actual athletes to celebrities, right? But
Yeah, we had Jeremy Lin, Dota.
Oh yeah, we did have Jeremy
team
Lin,
at one
dude.
time,
That was
right?
crazy.
Yeah, but like, but once they don't win games, it's like that's just it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're there to put forward their brand. Their
Yeah.
brand needs to win.
So
The brand needs exposure.
So they seriously need, like, other than that initial investment and the relying on these investors, maybe they need a lot more ways to make money.
Yeah.
You know, to stay long term as a team, even if they lose a lot. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
ultimately, if esports is like it's like sustainable and you know everything that gets done right, basically they're operating at a level of traditional sports, because I feel like that's the ultimate goal, like the very ultimate goal, to become that at that level.
Yeah.
And if you're at that level, I also think like teams just don't disappear. You know what I mean? If you're at that level,
Yeah.
because like NBA, like the Hornets, Charlotte Hornets, they've been shit for a long time, so to speak. But they're not gonna
That's
disappear.
Michael Jordan's
you know
team, baby. It's Michael Jordan's team.
But like they're not
Yes,
gonna
sir.
disappear, right? You know what I mean? I feel like ultimately, if esports, if it gets to a point where it's like, oh, it's sustainable as fuck, they do everything right, I feel like that means they're at that level.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And I think also like more consistent money for the players, because there needs to be incentive. I feel like that's why a lot of people retire. It's because they don't find success in tournaments and it just doesn't give them enough. Like even the worst NBA player, like you could be averaging like 1.1 points a game, they still bring home like what, at least $1 million a year.
Yeah.
Right.
They get a lot of money from ticket sales though. Like
Yeah.
their stadiums will have ticket sales no matter what.
Yeah.
People will show up.
That's what people need more of. I think Jonathan's onto something there. It's you need
Like they're funded by their team. The team,
Yeah.
the money the team makes like per season. How many people show up? People like your team. Do they show up for your in like the local stadiums?
there needs to be more money consistently.
People need
for
to pay to see them.
for the
Yeah.
org. Maybe the future is, I don't know, because we're still very new into like the esports scene.
I would
relatively,
say.
right?
Yeah, I would love to see stadiums here in the Philippines at least.
Yeah, like an
Like just
esports
have-
stadium, dude.
Like
Like, straight
esports
up.
stadium, bro. Because I see them PC shops,
Like a
but it's not.
dedicated one. Because people will show up to them, man.
Mhm.
People will show up. I guarantee it. If you
For
make a
Clan
stadium,
Wars, yeah, for Clan Wars,
dude,
man. Like,
they would show up. Hard, man.
Fnatic flies in from Malaysia or Singapore, wherever they are right now, and play here.
Play
Damn.
TNC.
Yeah, play TNC. You get to meet the players. You get to shake their hands, bro.
Yeah, dude.
I don't get a notification that like Tim's or Cuckoo is playing at this spot right now in Manila. I would show up. Sheesh,
Yeah.
dude. I'd pay money to see that.
It doesn't even have to be that big initially. These stadiums, it just be
Yeah.
like, you know, high grounds in You've been to higher grounds, right, Jakes? In
Yeah, yeah,
TNC?
yeah.
Have you been to that, Frank?
Hi-
It's like it's like Tim's.
High grounds.
Oh, you guys told me
Yeah,
about it, but I haven't been to it.
Yeah, there
Even
were
the
like
high
booths.
grounds.
There were
There's
booths
booths
behind
there.
us, and there
There's
were pro
booths
players
there.
playing. I think they were like team. Not Zephyr. It's another one. Xenia or something. I forgot.
Yeah, but even stuff
Xavier.
like that, like just have more IRL, like person to person interaction between the players and the
Teams and the players.
the teams and the players. Because like I've watched
Sorry,
NBA games, like from like the upper box, lower box was the lowest I think that or the closest I've been. But you pay for the atmosphere, man, and just to be in the building with them, like that's what fans love.
Yeah.
That's what they.
Events
That's
going
what
on.
they love. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I pay to
maybe
see.
like 10 years from now.
10
maybe 10
years
years
from
from now
now?
it'll start happening.
It's not as soon as 2 years, man. I hope it's like 2 years from now they like catch on. That people will pay to see them like live, bro.
Because I feel like all Dota majors, I'm speaking for Dota and CS also, because those are the two main games that I watch. When I look at the arenas, they're full, man.
All the time.
They're
Yes,
always full.
yeah.
We had a major in where was it? Peru? Was a major in Peru last year?
Yeah. Like people flew to Peru. Why would you do that?
That's true.
It's so random, dude. Just to watch.
Just to watch some nerds play video games, bro.
Exactly, dude.
And the crowd was wild, bro. They were cheering. Viva! It was so good, man.
Yeah.
And
So,
then,
yeah.
what we filled up stadiums here.
I feel like
we need to
everything
play.
we're talking about, I think a lot of it comes down to a central governing group that can organize all of this.
Yeah.
Because so when games do happen for a lot of these games, ticket sales do go crazy, but they don't happen that often.
Yeah, we have like
Yep.
for Dota, 3
Yeah.
majors a year and 1 TI.
Yeah,
That's it.
you need.
We don't even have majors next
Yeah.
year. We just have TI.
We don't have majors next year?
There's no DPC, bro. They
What?
scratched.
Oh
They
my
scrapped it, and they
God.
were like, "We'll talk about it later." So ESL says they're gonna make tournaments for us.
So
We'll see what else is
Yeah.
going on.
in order for esports to be for just generally a lot of games for their esports to thrive and be sustainable, more offline games where tickets need to be sold. As needs to happen
Yeah.
more often. I mean, that's definitely something.
Yeah, around the community.
Yeah.
Like
Because
real
that's
sports,
how
like
you
at
create
least
the loyalty,
at
bro.
least a game like per week even, you know, because real athletes they
Yeah.
play like I mean when I say real athletes I
other
mean
day.
traditional sports athletes they play you know
Basically every day.
basically every day, right? Like basically I would say at least like 3 to 4 times a week there is a stadium that you need to go to pay to watch
Yeah.
these guys play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order for esports to be at that level, yeah, I feel like you definitely need some sort of. I feel like for me, I feel like you need a very central, legitimate, recognized by the government organization, not just for one game but for all games, and each game needs like an organization that's under this big group.
Yeah.
I feel like something like that you
Sounds about
need
right.
it because they'll set the structure, whatever circuit DPC it is, they'll set the structure for the games. They'll be the ones like with the roster of like organizations that they can work with. They'll be the ones set the standard for like for cheating and all this stuff, how teams are formed, what standard, what mandatory requirements players need to meet in order to become a player. So, I guess all these things need to be set up, but yeah, you need that central group. But creating that central group
Oh.
is gonna take money.
Yeah.
So who's gonna be willing to step up and do that? You know what I mean?
I have about 2,000 pesos I'm willing to shell out for this.
Bro,
I have
I'd shell
2,000
out.
pesos. I got $40.
I'd shell out like $20 a month just to like see my pro players like in the one place, bro. Because now they're playing remotely from their camps. Screw that, man. Go to like a computer shop and tell me they're playing there. I'll sit in and watch the big screen. Watch them on the big screen in their computer shops. Enjoy
And
it.
speaking for Dota at least, I feel like somebody has to be brave enough to shake up the way the current games are being run. Though it's not efficient enough. The old format of majors to TI.
It's garbo. actually
It's not.
garbo.
It's not.
No one likes it.
Yeah, and they need somebody brave
Players
enough to be
don't
like,
like
wait,
it.
we're gonna change it up. We're gonna do a 100 game season, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna do a 100 game season, and then we're gonna do this. There will be a playoffs. All of this leading up to one big tournament that's before TI, and that's how TI is formed, like the teams.
Yeah.
But it's like a long, drawn-out season.
Something like that. Any game if they want their esports to go long term, because I feel like one of the reasons that Tekken is.
Frank, did you cut out? Did I cut out? I'm cutting out. Oh no.
No, you're still here.
No, you're good.
You're good. You're
Okay.
good. You're still
Oh,
here.
I'm froze. Sorry.
But I think like the one of the main reasons Tekken, their esports have been just doing amazing. They have a lot of games, a lot of games in their season, and a good number of them. A good number of them they have offline like venues where people need to pay to watch, and all their games always streamed, and there's a very consistent viewership. And also, they have viewers from literally all across the world for Tekken, and they have talent from all across the world.
It's not on the same scale as the other big games, but they don't spend that much money either on them, so it's sustainable.
Yeah.
It's
But yeah,
show up. play.
I guess the main different thing that Tekken does is like the number of games that they got. It's always they're always engaging with the viewers with these events.
Mhm.
Yeah.
True.
I think that really sets it apart. And maybe that can also lead to like the developers just having more love for the game. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Bandai Namco just loves Tekken like a lot more than Valve loves Dota. Or
Like, you know what would be really cool? Like, this is just me talking now about Dota teams. But like, if every team in Dota, wherever they were based, whether they're based in Portugal like OG is, or whether they're based in Germany, that team would have their own conference room or mini stadium where their fans could show up and watch them play qualifiers, watch them play online qualifiers or anything like that, or watch them play online tournaments. Like they would rake in money. They would be able to pay their players more. They would be able to sell merchandise. They will be able to meet the fans to pros. It's just a great ecosystem there. If they could just do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting paid what, 6 figures now at least.
Yeah.
Shopify, are they do they earn that? Do they deserve that, man? Like, I remember when they were having when at least Dota was having a tournament every week. It was 2 weeks off for them. And some players complained. They're like, "Oh man, we're so busy. I'm so tired." Rosana old man. Getting tired flying from country to country.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of
they got tired about that. I was kind of pissed. And now what we have right now, man, the players are complaining about having too much downtime. They qualify for a tournament and then there's 2 weeks of nothing, 3 weeks of nothing. I mean, they still make money, but it's just so boring. I can't tune into it.
Yeah,
true.
Whereas before, every other week I could just tune into another tournament and get hyped for it and be like, yes, this is it.
Yeah.
So stop
We need
bitching,
that.
pro players. Jeez.
Gosh, dude.
Stop bitching.
You don't wanna play
You're
yourself.
living the
Just
dream,
bench
man.
yourself.
You're living the dream.
Bench yourself.
Maybe that's also a thing, bro. Like the standards for pro player is different. Esports and traditional sports. Esports, because a lot of times they retire 30, 33, something like that. And then
That's been proven false, man.
Yeah,
Puppy's gonna be playing until he's 50.
Yeah.
That's another thing I could talk about. Like, a lot of these players can play until however long they want,
yeah,
man.
and as you said,
Hobson as a kid, he's playing.
They complain a lot more about mental health, or I guess something like that. Maybe there's that difference, because you're not gonna see traditional sports players to be fair, they physically and maybe mentally similar, but definitely physically, traditional sports players, they do a hell a lot more. They have a lot more games. They have a lot more media eyes on them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, I want to say that even from that, even thinking of that, even mentally, I want to say that traditional sports players are tougher. So maybe esports pro players, maybe their standards need to be
bitches.
They're just bitching, bro.
Their standard needs to be
dude.
raised. Maybe
These kids, bro.
Yeah.
These kids.
And that's not even
By the way,
knocking on them.
We only have 1 minute left
Yeah.
in this
Oh,
this
yeah.
call.
Okay. And that's not even knocking on them. That's if there is a central organization that sets all these standards, I feel like people would just go up, match it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But anyways, we're running out of time. We have to end this fast. So generally, we're both yes and no regarding the sustainability.
Yes.
There is potential.
There's potential.
There's potential.
Okay, there's potential.
Huge potential, bro.
Okay, so
Huge
there's potential, but a lot of work needs to be done. And yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching and listening, guys. We'll catch you again next week. Bye bye.
See ya.
See you guys.